You're hanging with the boys.
I
We're
know.
gonna kind of like, yeah.
I tell you what, man, I think it's gonna be a fun night. It's gonna be exciting.
No champagne, I was
I
gonna
know,
bring
I was so
champagne.
excited.
I was gonna bring beer, I thought, well, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
All right, well, let's see here.
When they're released, champagne.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that'll be a good
All right.
day.
Okay, here we are, the Northern Neck January 6th weekly vigil. It is day 1402, broke the 1400 mark. It is November 8th, 2024, and as always, we'll start out with a prayer, Pledge of Allegiance. We'll get into a little bit of news of the day and look forward to hearing from some of the January 6ers who are soon to be out here with us.
By the way, everybody, just in case you didn't hear, Trump won!
And we know it! Trump won. Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Just in
indeed.
case you didn't
All
hear.
Yeah.
Well, let's dedicate that one to him. And Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you so much. We're all still a little bit of shock that the wave went the way that it did. And I know that President Trump was guided by you, Lord. And I think a lot of Americans were as well, and got the courage and the faith to stand up and stand strong and get out and vote and encourage their fellow members of society to do the same thing. And I think that this is just about as wonderful as it could be. And we thank you. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And justice for all.
Yeah, Trump won.
That's where we're going. Justice for all. Soon.
Yes, sir.
Praise it from the hilltop, mountaintop.
All right.
It'll be like the Queen of Hearts. Off with their heads.
I would do that too.
All right. Hey, everyone. We got Josh is joining us already. Good to see you there, man. Yeah. I'm ready to, for sure. All right, we're live, we're running, and let's go ahead.
I think there's a few more folks that are making the trek on up here to be with us, and they're going to have some news on John Mellis, which is, I don't want to take that thunder because they know the details of it way more than I do, but I think that's a very important update. So, a couple of things. As always, we try to come with the news of the day or the week.
Bear with me.
And I did check the updated NPR January 6th database. Again, you can just search that by putting in your search engine NPR J6. And this is a listing of everybody who's been involved with January 6th, right from the very get-go. This is updated every Friday evening, usually about 5:30 or so. And one of the things I like, it's a touchstone for me because it tells you very quickly how many new arrests in the last week. Anybody want to take a guess on that?
3
This week?
new arrests.
Was that a guess?
No. I'm looking right at it.
Well, I'm happy that it's only 3. So you want to do the honors? If you're looking at it, go ahead. Just read about these guys.
We got Eric Sun from, it doesn't say his. So he was arrested on November 4th, the day before the election. And he's charged with disorderly conduct, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Not reading the extended part, if there is any, it's pretty short. We have Boris Sidow from Georgia, was arrested on November 5th, and he was arrested for disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. That ought to go fairly quick. They're reaching for it. From Illinois, we have Robert Giachetti, and he's charged with assault, resisting, or impeding certain officers. And there are no other charges listed for this guy. So that's it. That's what we have.
And isn't that something, as you're reading that, those two basic charges, which basically anyone who normally is charged in a capital for doing some kind of a protest, standing up in a hearing or waving signs around when they're not authorized to do so, that's the charges they get. And they typically are booked and let go, and might have a fine to pay, might not. So they're scraping the bottom of the barrel here on these two. Robert having the assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers, who knows? That could be anything. It could be he was pushed and fell into an officer. There's so many of those people that
I know somebody
charge.
else had all the bicycle racks already occupied, so it couldn't have been that.
Right, exactly. But look down on the list. Next one I thought was quite interesting. Zachary Jordan Alam. This was an update. All right, so we all know Zach Alam, right? Zach Alam was in the entrance to at the entrance to the speaker's lobby. He was the one who was banging on the glass to try to break it. Ashley Babbitt actually turned around and punched him in the face, knocked his glasses off, telling him to knock it off.
Oh.
And but yeah, he was pretty early on was known to be Antifa. The other J6ers knew about it. He was here at Northern Neck Regional Jail. We had a bit of a dispute at one point about whether we should fund his commissary or not. There was maybe 50 or 40 people in here, and I remember one of our associates, when I raised that, I said, well, he's Antifa. And she said,
Well, if he's Antifa, we don't support him.
yeah, but that was the argument. The argument was, should we or not support him? Her response was,
They're the
well,
reason this happened.
if he doesn't get it and all the other ones do, he's going to feel bad.
Too bad. Boo-hoo.
Well, but I think she was right, because wait a minute, who are we to be judge and jury here for this? Just because he's got a label as Antifa, we don't know, and we don't know what a lot of those people in there did. Some of them that have been through this whole thing the whole time have been on the other side. So anyway, go ahead. You got a comment?
So I don't know if you were leading into that. He had a sentencing this week, and he was sentenced to 8 years. So I don't know if you knew about that. But 8 years on, I think it was, how many months did they say? How many months is that? 96 months.
Yes, 96 months plus 36 months supervised release, $630 special assessment, and a very strange one here, $4,484 of restitution must be for the window that he broke.
And 32 cents.
And the door.
In the door. So anyway, that was interesting to see that update.
Yeah. Go ahead. You wanted the microphone.
I did, it's fast.
I did also notice down here, Odin Meacham. I think that must be Nord's brother from Utah. Remember Nord who took his own life?
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to look into that a little bit more, but it was a large family. All right. Well, so a couple things here. Yeah, I mean, when he had, 13 siblings or something
Yeah,
like
something
that?
like that.
Yeah, big family. So Maurice was talking about how this week has been and how Tuesday was. Carol and I sat here till almost midnight on Tuesday because we just were continuing to watch things as they were dropping and
Loving it.
yeah, and I didn't go to
Loving
bed until 5:30 when I got home because I just continued to stay up and watch.
it. As did I.
Yep, but
I got up and checked the phone when, here's John.
here's John, all
I
right.
think I messaged you as soon as they announced it the first
Well,
time. If you see
probably.
what time it was
I know you
probably
called me
like they
up.
announced it pretty early, actually.
You-
I thought.
I know
They
you called
probably
me up the
can't
first
hear
thing.
Carol very well back there.
That's okay. Carol's okay. I'm just saying, once they announced Pennsylvania, they called it doom. As soon as they announced Pennsylvania, they were calling issue for Trump.
Well, I know you called me first thing in the morning.
I couldn't help it. I was so
First
excited.
thing, good thing we were up.
It wasn't that early, was it?
It was before 8.
So I tried
Was
to
it?
just grab a few things as I was looking at them this week. Here was something from yesterday by a gentleman named
Hi, John.
Holton Kalota. And it was a video clip of President Trump, the 10-point plan to unravel the deep state. Number one, restore president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats. That was one of the very first executive orders that the Obama administration pulled down from after President Trump lost in 2020. Number two, fire corrupt actors in the national security and intelligence apparatus. Reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt, this is in quotes from the president, so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in a warrant application. Number four, establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. And I want to hold on that one. He didn't specifically say it, but the Smith-Month Act, is it? Smith-Month, which was kind of quietly overturned by Obama, which allowed the deep state to turn its apparatus and start to target and market indoctrination type efforts towards the American people for the first time since 1949, I think.
Yeah, it's a huge, big deal, and there was no publicity. I was going to say, the real scandal, there was no publicity about it.
Right.
A lot of really smart, well-read people had no idea. So that's scary when they're doing things of that magnitude without us even being aware.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Number five, crack down on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. Number six, make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee. That's a huge one as well. I mean, it's the fox overseeing the hen house kind of a thing. Number seven, ask Congress to establish independent auditing system to monitor our intelligence agencies and ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people. Number eight, move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside of Washington. And again, in quotes from the president, just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado. Number nine, ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and then regulate, like with Big Pharma. And what we're talking about there is the revolving door that happens when people who are regulating those industries then turn around and suddenly are sitting on their boards.
Same with defense industries,
Yeah, right, defense.
Oh,
too.
yes.
big time.
And the last one here was push for constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. And that was a kind of a controversial one on term limits, but boy, it sure would take care of a few folks that seem to just be hanging on in there and not doing anything good.
So all I want to know, John, is how the hell did you make that prediction? You're right on. It was he sent out an email. It's going to be 312 to 226. He didn't say which side each one was, but and guess what? It's 312 and 226.
Is it? Is that the final tally?
As far as 270 to win, yeah.
It wasn't finished.
Well, if you go on 270 to win, that's what they say it
Yeah,
is.
he had 277.
It's
when I looked.
312, it's just a couple of the knucklehead liberal outlets won't
That
call.
aren't calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's like
What is it in
3 or 4
Arizona?
that were highlighted. Yeah. They
So
were
how'd you do it?
It's because, I'll tell you in a minute.
Did
It's
you do
it's
the Carnet
because,
thing?
like Arizona, for instance, there are less votes still outstanding than the margin of victory. So technically, until they're counted,
Oh,
they can get
okay.
away with going, well, he hadn't won it yet because we haven't had.
I see, but that's why it's faded red then.
Right, and that's why all the
Okay.
adults have come out and said it's
Children,
312.
there's- yeah, okay, there it is.
Arizona went
They
for
can-
Trump, but they wouldn't vote for Kerry
What
Lake.
about Georgia? What about Georgia? Yes, I was in Pennsylvania. I was so happy. I couldn't
not
stand
happy
it.
about
As far as how I figured it out, I've been studying polling and statistics for a lot of years, and I've worked out a predictive model. And what I do is I go in and I take like the 3 most reputable polls. Trafalgar's usually the best, but there are a couple others, Ipsos, that are pretty good. And I go through all the crosstabs and see how they weighted things. And I saw a lot of mistakes, like they were weren't picking up on the fact that there were a lot of young voters now. And what I looked at a lot was the difference in voter registration since the last election. And like in Pennsylvania, places like that, we gained like tens of thousands of new voters. So I just took that number and extrapolated it, on a percentage basis. Like, okay, we were here last election, now we have this many more registered voters, and I factored that in. And of course, there's some luck, because you don't know how much cheating there
Registered
is.
as Republican, right?
Did you win any money?
No, I didn't bet on it, but the poly markets, the money market, is one of the three main sources I look at. Because people that have a lot of money, usually there's a reason they have a lot of money. And even if they're dumb, they can pay smart people to figure things out.
Yep.
So,
That's true.
and that's how I really got it. I have a guy I paid to figure this out for me.
I saw an interesting thing. Apparently, the mainstream media, nobody was watching them. I'll bet you guys weren't watching them here the other night, were
Oh,
you?
we were watching Dan Bongino.
So apparently they lost.
Are they gonna run out and leave the USA?
They lost like half of their viewership when compared to the 2020 election. Everybody was sitting around there watching podcasts, and we were watching Dan Bongino's version of
American Live,
He
because
was
I went straight home and went back to it. Yeah, that was good.
And so it's like, yeah, it looks like the news media, the traditional format for the news media is all but gone.
Yeah,
It
I'm
just
sure
doesn't
of it.
seem to be there anymore, because there's some really good people out there, but you see, they're good at, they've got their niche. And so you have to
Their
observe
specialty.
several people to get a better spread of what's actually going on. And I could name names, but I'm not gonna do that right here.
Yeah, he was
But it's
doing-
interesting to see where the American people are going. Except, when you look on social media, all these people that are panicking, they mention names for their sources as names that end and rhyme with cow. So there's a lot of people out there that are where we were 4 years ago. Glad we're not there anymore.
Yes, indeed.
Here's some other stuff that, again, I just picked up off of the last couple of days of, I actually went through a period where I didn't look at my phone or any kind of electronics for hours because I was just so overwhelmed, but, you can't have it. But a lot has happened. This was another ex-post under the moniker Shadow of Ezra. He described it as the Trump effect. Just 48 hours since his election win, he, number one, appointed the first ever woman as chief of staff. That's huge. Now, she also was his campaign manager, so that's maybe a payback and,
Yeah.
You earned it kind of
You
a
earned
thing.
it.
I don't remember her name if anybody knows it, but
That's a tough job, earning it.
Especially with Trump.
the Taliban signals a wish to be removed from the terror list. But they'd like to keep the $40 million a week that they get, or whatever the number is, right? So, I don't know. Number three, Putin announces the West is no longer viewed as an enemy. And I've heard some other things about Putin as well, signaling that he's going to be happy and excited to. And to Zelensky to get the war over in Ukraine. Heading to the U.S. border. Somebody said that earlier, that there was a caravan broken up by the Mexican government. Number five, New York halts food vouchers for illegal immigrants. I wonder if the illegal immigrants are going to just decide it's time to
They'll leave
go
on their
back.
own just to eat.
Number six, China
That's
expresses a
dogs.
desire for peaceful coexistence with America.
I couldn't.
Number seven, European Union leaders announced plans to prioritize American gas over Russian supplies. Number eight, Hamas calls for an end to the war. Bitcoin hits an all-time high,
Yeah.
and the stock market soars to new records.
So,
Tom, I've got, on that caravan, there was a 3,000 person caravan headed this way, and they, as of yesterday, they dispersed down to about half their size, and they said almost all of them are going back voluntarily because they don't want to spend that money and go through the danger just to be sent right back. So, and they also say there's early signs of people self-deporting,
Before they get-
knowing they're gonna get caught and just,
Yes,
okay,
indeed.
we're just leaving.
That's funny.
So, what Tom was saying, I'm glad you went through that, because I haven't had time to follow it the last couple days. But that's why I'm so late. Everywhere I went to do papers, deliver papers, people recognize me and want to talk about the election. And of course, a lot of my delivery people are also advertisers, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm excited too, but can we talk about this later? But I mean, the level of excitement is just
yeah.
palpable. I mean, it was so nice. Everywhere I went in, people were smiling. You know, so anyway, it was anecdotal, but it was really refreshing to see all these people that the month before looked so worried. And it's just like a great weight's been lifted off of all of us. And I know a lot about great weight, trust me. So anyway.
I went shopping on Monday, the day before Election Day, and I wore my hat, Trump shirt, and my Trump car. And I got stopped 10 times within 3 hours. 2 people wanted to talk in the parking lot or in the store. Got lots of honks. People came out of their car and said, "You go, girl." It was just, people were really excited and they couldn't wait for the election. And so 10 people in 3 hours that I was out. So that's a record for
Yeah, they're
me.
not bad.
Do you guys need me to go get some more paper copies? I only brought a few in.
I've got bundles for them to take back.
Okay.
Yeah, we all need bundles. Got these ones.
It's nice to be able to look at the news and find all the humorous articles that are coming out now. And this one here, I think is kind of wonderful. So apparently the Harris campaign blew through $1 billion in the last few weeks of the thing, and they overspent.
You think?
Yeah, they're 20 million in debt.
$20 million in debt, and there are people waiting for paychecks. Nobody's getting paid. That's just wonderful. No wonder we can't get them to manage our budget correctly. They can't manage money at all. So I thought that was a little bit funny. And they're crying.
Yay.
He plays
I
it
have
for us
never
anymore.
seen so many people
I hope it's a
become, yes, so
My friend
many.
nailed
Oh,
That's correct. Because we had to publish this a couple days before we knew for sure.
Uh-huh.
So I said, to hell with it, I'm writing it as though we won, because we are gonna win.
You did it. You did it.
We found out the second
But some of the
day.
stuff I'm seeing these people write is like crazy. Just crazy.
I
It's
love
like,
it.
oh my God, he's gonna eat my cat. What?
Oh, I know.
It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh,
I
he's
think they
gonna.
are. I think they are.
Yeah, they're
They
crazy.
have to be.
I have 4 cats, so don't come by my house with a big fat cat.
There's part of me that wants to feel sorry for them.
Hey, so put a shout out for the Northern Neck Sentinel, www.nnsentinel.com. And John's article, lower left, he referenced Craig Shirley with, this woman's got to have a name. I mean, she is so meme worthy. She's all over everywhere. But yeah, fantastic.
Is it a woman? Is it a woman?
Oh, is it a woman? Well, I guess it depends on your definition of what's a
bunch of
woman.
you in the paper too.
Yeah.
All of you guys and Jen's in the paper.
Yeah, that's true. Here we are, upper right-hand corner. There's a wonderful article about our 2-year anniversary.
I'm so
So,
tempted to draw a little mustache on her, but I didn't.
Yeah, I love that picture. That's
So,
awesome.
we had the article about our second vigil too, so a little free pub for the patrons.
Yeah, people are gonna get that soon.
So is there going to be a call from John Mellis? Do we know?
Yeah, when he gets out of lockdown.
All right. Do we need to do any preface or just want to let him go ahead and talk about what's been going on? I'm sure he's got no loss for words, so.
He doesn't, you know him. Maybe you can give him a little bit of background.
Yeah, well, I might ask one of you to do it because I think you might know it better.
Sure.
But you think that's after when?
8.
Oh, after 8, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep going with some other things here. I think everybody knows I'm a big fan of General Flynn. You know, I've seen some very disparaging stuff on him recently. Someone was trying to claim that him, Ivan Raiklin, and a few others are actually working against things, but I guess you're going to see whatever. You're going to see a lot of things, but you want to go ahead before I read? Go ahead. I might have split the
No,
thought.
I'll save it till after.
Okay. So this was, again, a post from General Mike Flynn on November 6th. He said, "My counsel to everyone who reads this, listens to what I say, or gives a crap what I do. Last night's victory was historic. Yes, but as in warfare, this was only the beginning of the long slog to achieving total victory.
Yep.
Yeah.
The best analogy is that we have seized the beachhead and have broken through the hedgerows into Normandy. I want everyone to understand we have not achieved a VE day. We are more like a D-Day +1. We have our beachhead. The troops are arriving in strength with determined purpose and a clear mandate. But now the real work of rooting out the evil infestation really begins. Removing the infiltrators, the bureaucratic systems and processes that infect decision-making and do nothing to protect the safety and security of the American people, along with many bureaucrats who wish nothing but ill will to our arriving troops. Sorry, not this time, Obama. Fool us once, shame on us. Try to fool us again, shame on you. Making America great again is our marching order, and we the people are on the move. Lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way."
Yeah, they read that on the War Room.
Did it?
Yeah, it couldn't be more accurate. Because every time we get these, pardon my language, these people on the ropes, we let them go. It's like, okay, they've learned their lesson all. They will never learn their lesson. Their whole life they'll be acting like this. And you see all them melting down and crying and whatever. Okay, I don't enjoy that. And if there was any chance that any of this they said, well, actually I do enjoy it a little bit. But if they really were going to be treated that way, I'd feel bad about it. But they're not. And this is what a lot of people said to me today. Why are these people freaking out, John? He was in office 4 years and he never did any of it. That tells you a lot about their mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why all of a sudden would Trump change his stripes? What they're really afraid of is when he came into office, there were two things I was worried about: his temperament and his lack of experience. Well, the lack of experience is gone. And I think the temperament's actually turned out to be
Mellowed out.
an asset, because people are so tired of being disparaged and made fun of and talked down to. In fact, there's
Called garbage.
one of these front page articles by Victor Davis Hanson, Election 2024, those who lecture versus those tired of being lectured. The American people are just tired of being lectured. These people think they're better us, they think they're morally superior, and most of them don't even believe in God.
They have no morals, that's the thing.
So anyway, I don't want to hog the mic, but my point is, don't think they're going to learn a lesson from this. And that doesn't mean we have to be nasty or vicious or break rules like they do. I think we should do it by the rules, but we got to be realistic. And what Mike Flynn said is brilliant. We've got a great opportunity. We got them on the ropes. And Tom and I talked about this. I've been talking about it lately. This is just an opportunity. We have to just keep the pedal to the metal.
As General Flynn's post says,
Well, this is his son.
his son, remember this, Tuesday, 11/5/2024 is garbage day. It's not recycling day.
I like that.
But you know, John, you made me think of basic parenting. If you don't make them suffer a consequence, they will not change their behavior.
Right. We don't have to be cruel or break the rules. Treat them the way,
They treated the J6ers.
well, if they broke the law, just like the J6ers. It's got to be proportionate. There were a few of them who really did get a little out of hand.
Mhm.
They deserve a proportionate punishment, but most of them don't deserve any. But even the ones that it's proportionate,
Don't
they
deserve what
would
they're
have already
getting.
served more than their sentence.
3, 8, 0, 4, 9,
It's doing it again. It's not
1,
ringing here.
1. 7, 0, 3, 8, 0, 4, 9, 7, one,
I don't know how that's
one.
coming in here.
Your phone's not connected?
It's, yeah,
Close that off.
good for now.
Wow. Well, we still got the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, we'll get there. The other thing, in the comments to Michael General Flynn's, we are going to absolutely do it legally and lawfully, which is the difference, which they did not and do not. This will come back to bite them. So we're going to follow the law, and we're going to use those rights that we've just let kind of gather dust all these years.
Otherwise, we're hypocrites.
Right.
I mean, how can we criticize them for using underhanded methods and then do the same thing? But we don't need to. In this article by Craig Shirley with the Screaming Lunatic, he talks about the biggest problem they have is no matter how much they lose, it's always, well, we didn't package it right. You know, it's like the restaurant that everybody hates their food. Well, let's redecorate. Maybe if we pipe in music, it'll make it taste better. No, the problem is they have bad ideas. And if we just concentrate on that and not get into all the personal, silly stuff.
Absolutely.
That's their game, personal.
It is, but then, you know, I understand Jack Smith is going to be taking a sabbatical.
I'd be taking more than that.
I think I saw that they've got until December 2nd before they have to come back to the court and give an update. But it sounds like the precedent of trying presidents, it's not something we do in this country. So he was fair game while he was a candidate, but now that he's the president-elect, they're probably going to back away from that, which is great.
Well, except the one exception is Tish James in New York. She's claiming because it's a state level deal that she can't be stopped. Technically, she's right. She can try to proceed, but there's something called conspiracy under color, which means using your office to unlawfully take away someone's civil rights. And I don't know if you guys know who Mike Davis is, the attorney. He's on a lot of the prominent programs. He's a brilliant guy. He's going to end up in the Justice Department somewhere. But anyway, and these are his words, not mine. This is an adult audience. Talking about Tisha James, he says, look, you better back off because we're not going to tolerate this stuff. And he said, and these are his exact words, and if you keep messing around, we're going to put your fat ass in prison. Now, I don't condone using foul language, but I do condone the passion. We have to be tired of this crap. You know, it's ridiculous.
You know, you're right. We shouldn't be tolerating any of it for anybody. Perhaps, yeah. We shouldn't be tolerating it for anybody, regardless of the flag they want to fly under. Just because it's disgusting to watch. You know, we've been watching that James woman up there campaign on the notion that she's going to go after Trump. Well, that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? One, if you got a following, it makes them like you better. But if you don't, you're attracting other people. You're actually fomenting violence in the form of lawfare, and it's just disgusting. It should never happen.
Well, the same thing with Fani Willis.
Fani, you're being generous. Fani Willis, yeah, not one of my favorite people. But apparently all the federal level cases are going to go back in the closet for another day. Apparently some people think they're, you know, I really got to say this out loud. I think there's at least one political party in this country that's all but completely defunct.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much done. And I think that the suicide move that they made before even Rush Limbaugh died, going back at least a good crisis go to waste day.
Well, we've seen this story before. I think it was '88 when McGovern got just totally obliterated. They had done the same thing. They'd gotten so extreme that America just rose up against them. Well, unfortunately, there was a clever politician named Bill Clinton that figured that out. And him and Dick Morris and whatever started plotting and used a strategy they called triangulation. In that we have to act reasonable at least and offer to meet in the middle. Then once we get enough power, we'll go ahead and do what we really want to do. But see, he was smart enough to do that. He did the Sister Soldier moment when she was running down white people. Oh, you can't do that. And he was smart enough to tack back to the middle. Sure enough, Clinton got elected, and that kind of worked for him. Well, fortunately, I don't think they're rational enough or smart enough to do that anymore. And I think they're just going to keep bleeding people because I've got an upcoming article called The Red, White, and Blue Wave. And the reason I'm doing that is, of course, we expected a red wave. Conservatives were outraged. Well, the white is what I consider the independents. Well, we won the white vote, too. We had a record-breaking independence. But the real kicker is the blue wave. A lot of Democrats switched to Republicans, including
My whole family did.
some very prominent people, Tulsi Gabbard, whatever. And now we've got the best and brightest. Elon Musk. We're really attracting some brain power. Joe Rogan, yeah. That was a smart move, the podcast, to reach other cultural entities. And it was really a brilliant campaign. This going to all the blue states, a lot of people criticize him. You're not going to win those states. Well, came within 2 in Virginia. He cut the margin more than in half in New Jersey, only lost by 4 or 5. Well, that's what swung the popular vote.
He moved it in New York too.
Yeah.
He moved it
a
in
lot in New
California.
York, a lot in Illinois. And some of these are going to be in play next election, especially Virginia, New Hampshire. We barely lost New Hampshire. So he's widened his electorate. He's grown his party. And the Republicans are now the People's Party. They're the big tent party.
They really are.
And that's the big takeaway from all of this.
And of course, you've got the sniveling clowns like Gavin Newsom that wants to have a special session with his state legislation to Trump-proof California.
Yeah, because they're doing so great out there.
They're doing fantastic out there. The crime's through the freaking roof. They've got insane cost of living. You can't rent a 140 square foot apartment for less than $4,000 a month. It's nuts.
We have 3 of our kids that live in California, so
It's insane. Yeah, my daughter says, but Dad, it takes $40 an hour to live here. I'm like, why don't you move? Why don't you move?
Yeah, a lot of people are. This graphic, I'm not sure, I'm going to put it up to show folks, but this is the vote total, the popular vote total for the 2012 election, the 2016, the 2020, and then the 2024. And what you see here, if you skip 2020, we're dealing with roughly the same amount of voters, roughly, in all those elections except for 2020, where suddenly, where's this other 60 plus million votes that showed up then? It just doesn't make any sense.
Put them back in their
It proves 2020. It proves how definitive it is now that 2020 was stolen with massive cheating. Because how did Kamala Harris lose 18 million votes? Where did they? I mean,
All right, John.
I don't. It doesn't make sense. Hold it. Here we go.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from Josh. An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this, your current balance is $42.96. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Good.
Excellent.
Real good.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Our
Yeah.
first podcast.
It's
you were saying
awesome,
that.
it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Is it enough?
So
I'm listening.
these guys are talking between themselves. But are you back in the J-Pod? Are you still segregated?
No, so,
What's the mood?
They
What's the mood?
took like basically everyone in the unit and took them up to the J6 pod, and it's been an emotional roller coaster because they brought me over to CDS, put me in North 2, where I'm in solitary confinement, and every time I come out of the room, I have to be handcuffed,
Oh,
and
jeez.
I only get out between 1 and 2 hours a day, and everywhere I go, like I said, I have to be handcuffed. So I was having a really good week, and I was all excited because the captain came down and was like, "Oh, you're going up to the J6 pod," and I'm like, "Oh, that's fantastic." I got my stuff on my car. He's like, "Hey, I just got a call. You can't go there." And I'm like, "Why not?" And they're like, "Well, you still have that separation." I'm like, "Well, I went to family day with the guy. We sat at the same table, ate food together. His mother held my newborn daughter. We took pictures together. We've signed 3 non-animosity forms, and whatever happened between us was really minor and basically just, pointless, and it didn't bother or hurt anyone. So I don't understand why there's still a separation." They're like, "Well, there is. So then, yeah, I have to be here."
But not for long.
Not for long.
Yeah, not for long. Yeah, that's what I've been praying for myself. Because this place is absolutely filthy. Everybody just screams and bangs on their doors, and they're probably going crazy. God only knows how long they've been here, but all of that, I'm still very excited about the future of America. I'm very excited about all the good things to come. I have now some more faith in our election process.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy about that, because I was for sure telling myself it's just gonna get stolen and all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, maybe they learned and they don't want to do that anymore. So,
Yeah, I think it does give you a kind of a new wind in your sails a little bit, right? Because I got to be honest, Josh, even though it felt like, that red wave is coming, I didn't want to believe it. I just couldn't let myself, I just couldn't do it. And I was sort of in shock for a little while when it finally settled in that actually we had done it.
Yeah, I was watching the numbers. The guard had let me out, and I stayed up from, I think, midnight till 3:30, 4 o'clock after Trump's speech in West Palm, and I didn't miss a beat of it, and I was really, really grateful for that. And I'm like, wow, I was like, look at this man's age. He's on his way to go to the that convention center or wherever he was at to go and speak, and Kamala's already headed home. she's had enough. She knows there's not a win. And I remember just sitting there waiting for him to come on the stage, and I was so happy for him. And he's so inspirational, because no matter how hard things get, no matter how many people are telling you no, it's not possible, no matter what, he just kept fighting, just kept pushing forward. And look, he overcame all the odds that everybody thought he couldn't overcome. I mean, not everybody, obviously. It seems like the whole country, with the populist vote and the electoral vote, everybody in this whole country almost seems to believe in the man. And that made me, sorry I dropped my mic, that made me really happy to see him get what he deserved after all of that pain, that stress, that being slandered through the media, just all of everything he went through. He's a fighter, and he deserves it. Look, he was being shot down on stage in Butler, Pennsylvania, and first thing, he stands up, pumps his fist, and says, "Fight, fight, fight." And it's like, wow, this man is going to fight for us.
That's right.
He cares about us. And then all the stuff he's doing with
riding in the trash truck with one of those fluorescent vests,
That's priceless.
going to McDonald's and working, and I was just, I don't know, I'm very excited to see the future, and I'm very excited that I think that hopefully, and I'm pretty sure, these wars are going to start to stop and come to agreements. Our stock market's going through the roof. RFK is going to get on one of the somewhere, I'm not sure, but he's working on trying to make sure the FDA is going to get a better quality food and start getting rid of things that are poisoning us, affecting us generations from now. And I'm excited that maybe we can keep Social Security.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good positives.
No tax on Social Security.
Yeah, all the, but but you're right, there's work for us to do now. That's the other thing.
A lot of work.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, I have all these farms all around me that have natural gas wells. And once the Biden administration came in, they kind of just got capped off and sat there and did nothing. And now all those family farms and all those people that, were excited for these wells and then they got canceled, their families are going to prosper, and their children, their grandchildren, and there's just going to be so much going on in my area in Western Pennsylvania that's going to help everybody. And it makes me really happy.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. And to your point earlier, there's already been indications from foreign leaders. Putin has made comments that he's looking forward to sitting down with Trump, and I heard that the Taliban wants to be taken off the terror list, and Hamas is ready to end conflict, and just things are happening all over. And China wants to work with us now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great news. That's real good news.
Yeah.
Because now I already, just that little bit of news is already making me feel like we're taking a step 2 or 3 away from the thought of World War III.
That's right.
Because I don't want war. I don't want any of that stuff. It's not good for anybody other than the people that make bullets.
Yeah.
I don't want that stuff. There's so many things that can be solved by talking and working things out and just loving each other. And it's also exciting to see like how we're going to start focusing on building stuff in America and not trying to import everything. Like that's a big deal, because how do you compete with like China and Korea, these people that are making cars and stuff, and they hardly have to pay their people, if they're even paying them at all.
Right.
And now we're trying, and then on top of it, they have no EPA, no regulations or anything like that. But all of our small businesses and manufacturers are struggling with just to, be up to snuff and up to par before they can even operate. Now I feel like there's going to be a lot of good stuff to come.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have so much on my mind, and I want to say so much more than I am probably forgetting. It's been an emotional week, and then today, like, it's been a lot. It's like going from like jail's terrible regardless, but it's like going down into the basement of a jail where it's like all dungy and dirty and stuff, and I'm still processing it.
So you're on the CDF side now, right? The detention facility side. Are there other J6ers over there?
Yeah.
If they are, I'm not aware of them.
Yeah.
Maybe if I don't know how the wrecking is going to go, if we're one-on-one or if there's going to be other people. I don't know anything.
Well, I think I just got the answer here from the audience. There's about 14 of them over there. So, but that's
14.
Yeah, that's what I just
Wow.
heard. Yeah.
Okay.
There were
interesting.
a half dozen or so that had gone in there that did not get put into the J6 pod, and then that's been the continuation. I guess that's how that number's up there now. It's grown that much.
Yeah, they've been trying, it seems like they're trying to keep the numbers down in that unit for whatever reason, and then they just moved, like a, somewhat of a regular population unit, the one that I was in, into that unit.
That's right.
So it's, yeah, I don't know, I think they were, they're just wanting the whole J6 stuff to be done with.
They want.
I don't know what to think about it, you know? I really don't.
Well, so the most important thing is what do you need? How can we help you? You know, aside from writing letters and getting to talk to you every once in a while.
Man, it's I honestly look out for my family every way that you guys are able to. Heather Young has all her contact information. I know you guys are in contact with her.
Well, she's here today. She's
Yeah,
here today, so if you want to say hi.
Hi, Heather. Thank you for helping me schedule a time slot. I appreciate you. You've been a wonderful friend, texting me on the tablet, write me a little, I don't know what you call it, like a story, biography about me and my family and what we're going through. And you've been a wonderful person. You've been a wonderful help, and you've made this a little less of a burden today. So I really do appreciate you and all of you guys. And honestly, all of your hard work is starting to pay off. You know, we got Trump in office, and now, you know, everything else is baby steps, but everything else is just going to fall into order. And what's amazing is you guys haven't given up, and it's been all this time now, and you guys are still fighting. You guys are still giving us a voice, and I'm really proud of all of you guys, because it's really easy to get discouraged and want to give up or say, oh, it's a lost cause, but you guys are fighters just like Trump is.
That's right.
So every one of you guys should be proud of you guys yourself.
Well,
know
thanks.
that you guys are good people.
Thanks, Josh. And I tell you what, it sure as heck helps when you have a win like this that just gives you a boost in the arm. That's what we need. We all need it. We need to have faith in our country. We need to have faith in what's right is going to take the day. And I think together we're going to get there. I know we will.
We are going to get there. We are going to get there. There's still a lot of good people in this country, and I don't think any of us are ready to give up on that idea of the country that we have in mind. Like, I don't think we're going to give up on it, and we're going to keep working to do good things in the world. And we're going to try to be an example for the entire world, even though right now we have so much going on amongst us. But hey, look at all these Latino voters, look at all the black voters. You know, there's obviously a lot of people that are waking up and starting to come together. The numbers of people that were voting, I keep hearing that it's like record-breaking numbers, to where there's more people that voted this year than last election, and all the different little counties and stuff.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I talked to Tina, and it like went from like usually 50 to 60%, all the way now it's 85% of the community is voting, and it's just, I think we've all learned a lot from all of this. We became stronger, better, and as much as they want to, you know, not say this, I think we're becoming more united. So.
Well, that's.
But I love you guys very. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, just agreeing with you. Absolutely agree.
I love you guys, and I really appreciate all of your time and hard work for giving me a voice.
Love you, Patriot.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. You're going to be out soon.
You'll be out soon.
So
We're gonna meet
hold on
next
to
year.
that.
I can't wait to meet all of you guys. I'm really looking
Same
forward
here.
to that day. It's going to be a wonderful day.
Party,
It is.
party,
We're gonna have a
party,
big old
party,
party. We're gonna
celebration.
have to.
Party, 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 party. I'm going to need lots of coffee after.
Fight, fight, fight.
That's right.
Party, party, party.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
Yeah, Maurice just got some news.
So, on the chat, I'm seeing that the pod got integrated today. They've got 11 non-J6ers in the pod.
Yeah, they're just trying to.
That's,
they're trying to get.
And they're not putting J6ers in there,
They're
they're putting
protective
elsewhere.
custody inmates. So protective custody meaning snitches, child molesters, rapists,
Oh, great.
Bad people.
bad people.
Oh, no.
So now they gotta keep their
Just
cells
remember
closed.
for the live stream, we got to repeat things so that, without the microphone, it doesn't come up. So thank you for that. Protective custody is the designation of these rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. Pedophiles.
Snitches.
Snitches, right. The people that they've really got nothing else left to lose. They're basically the dregs of the dregs.
And they're
right?
the ones that the general population will turn on because they despise those people.
So-
Right, snitches, child molesters, rapists.
Honor among thieves.
Right. So you put,
Right,
again, what was it, protective custody?
correct.
You put those people in with an otherwise peaceful and quiet and well-meaning, going along, get along group of people.
Normal people.
You think they're going to turn the protective custody people into different people, or are they expecting that there's going to be a dust-up?
I think they want to.
I can tell you, it's, as Steve Bannon says, the primal screen of a dying regime. They know they're on the way out the door, and they want to get their licks in. But I'll tell you how stupid they are. It's just like when your mom says, all right, you wait till your dad gets home. It's not a good idea at that point to cuss out your mom.
Exactly.
Okay, they know that patriots are getting ready to take over, and it doesn't occur to them that the Justice Department, Kash Patel, whoever's running things next, is going to want reasons why these people were transferred in there. And of course, they're not going to have a reason. These people don't get it because they've never paid the price before. But you're going to see a lot of prosecutions.
Good.
And no more of this Mr. Nice Guy stuff. It's just ridiculous.
So there's some I can, you want me to turn?
Yeah, come on up. Come on up. A lot of cheers,
So originally, like, Heather reminded me a few months ago, they were gonna do this.
Yeah, they've been gonna.
Yeah, they've been talking about how they were gonna do this. And, so when they were telling the inmates, they were also saying that they were able to stay in the pod because they were gonna take some of the J6ers out, which now they haven't had to do because they haven't been putting them in there, right?
Right.
So they were saying, we can save you from not going out there, but we need you to sign a protective custody agreement. So all of the J6ers from day one have been on administrative protective custody, meaning the administration of the jail has them on protective custody. That's why they've had their own pod.
After creating a scene where they needed to be protected.
Right, yeah, so, yeah, after they did all the bad things to them to make them need to be segregated, right? With that, if they are to sign a protective custody agreement, that protective custody agreement goes and follows them to the prison system. And that is on their paperwork. And when they get into the prison system, you've got all of these prisoners, they want to see people's paperwork.
Everybody else wants to see your
Everybody
picture.
wants to see, right? They want to know, who are you? Let me see your paperwork. Are you a snitch? Are you this? Are you that? And if they see their paperwork and it says protective custody,
They're a target.
they're a target because they don't know if they're a snitch or if they are this or that or whatever. So this jail is purposely trying to make that happen, and now they're putting, they're probably putting that same kind of pressure on them. I don't know, but that's, obviously they want some sort of scuffle to happen because, like you said, John, they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, right? They're flailing, they're drowning, and every kind of metaphor you can make for that. And we got a call.
New phone call.
Hello, this is a prepaid debit call from
Olivia.
attending at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, this call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Olivia.
Hello!
Hey! Oh, Trump won.
Trump.
Just in case you didn't hear, Trump won.
Oh, yeah! No, I feel like the last couple of days I've been like partying hard.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, yeah, I was pretty excited, not gonna lie.
We all were. We
may or
all
may
were.
not have fallen crying in the middle of the night, but that's all
I
right.
was crying too.
It's been a long journey.
You get any sleep that night? No sleep? Stay up all night?
Do what?
Did you stay up all night listening?
So what happened was they let us come, like, I'm on unit detail, so we get to come out until about 12 o'clock, and so we haven't cleaned up. There's like 3 people here that are real big. We're all kind of big Trump fans, and we've been like real loud about it, and the whole unit knows, and so we were like play by play all day long. So then we haven't cleaned up the unit that fast ever, and so we cleaned up real fast, and we were sitting in the TV room watching till about 12. Then we had to go in. I'm like, oh no, I gotta find out. I can't sleep. so I found we had one of those little portable radios my mom had got us when we first got here, and I still had some batteries left, so I plugged that in. I was sitting in my cell listening to the radio, and so I was listening. Once everybody, like the news stations and different people started calling it right before Trump and the family came up, did the speech, I was like, emotion just came over, and I was like, man, it actually,
He actually did it.
happened. I was super excited. And then once he started that speech, and I don't know, I just felt like, all the years of, heartache and everything that people have gone through these last 4 years fighting to, expose and to, get the truth out there is actually, paying off, and we get to finally enjoy the rewards of all that work. And I was thinking about like all the men and different ones and ladies who are in and haven't seen their kids in years, or haven't even hugged some of their babies that they haven't seen yet. And I just have emotions. I'm like, they're almost home. Like, they're so.
And you too.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I was crying.
I
like,
believe it.
Happy tears.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
cool.
Then,
You weren't alone.
then I was thinking, I was like, we've done all these praying, like we had, prayer and fasting up until the day of the election. I did 3 days, and then the boys did the men's pod. They took the next 3 days leading up to it, and then I was like, we did all these praying, asking God to, show us a victory, and I was like, it's time to think of it. So I just had, just took my earbuds out and had a time, just praising the Lord and thanking Him for the victory, because I feel like He gave us the strength to keep going and to get through this. So we got to rejoice. And those trumpets of joy are going out for sure.
It's funny. Remember the Democrats tried to steal that word from us, joy?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
They can't have it.
They can't have it. That's right. That's right. We're not going to let them have it.
Nope. No.
This is true joy. This is great.
We're keeping that one.
Yeah.
But it's been good. So that's what I was down. I'm able to go to get out of the unit a little bit more than the guys pod because I'm on general population. So I've been going to they have cosmetology and barbering class. So I've been going down there, and it's a co-ed class, and so there's guys and girls in the class, and all the guys are like, we've been kind of leading up to it. There's a bunch of pro-Trumpers in there, and they've been like even asking all the CEOs, oh, who'd you vote for? Oh, who'd you vote for? And they're like, you're not supposed to ask people that. He's like, oh, well, I just want to make sure you're voting right. You gotta get my man Trump in office.
Right.
That's right.
And so then when I came in the next day, because they all know I'm day 6 and everything, they're like, oh, they were like high-fiving me, like, you're going home, you're going home. No, I'm like, man, I was like, this is too cool.
Yeah.
But it was kind of neat. It's pretty
That's so cool.
funny. Yeah. The COs just roll their eyes because you know they hate it. But,
Do you feel like it's really sunk in now? I mean, really, because we've all waited.
It's starting to. The first day, got so, like, I kept thinking, like, man, is this real? But it's starting to sink in now. And there's pretty much every night we see it on the news and stuff. They're like, oh, will he pardon the J6ers? Will he actually, do what he promised? And so with that, I was like, well, if mainstream media is already calling it, and I think it's a done deal. But
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so.
And to have the House and the Senate, I mean, that's what I'm like. We got it all in place. Just bam, bam, bam. It's going to start looking.
Yeah.
Overturning some of this.
And the popular vote.
And the popular
pretty
vote.
quick.
And the popular vote.
Yeah.
There are no arguments. All bases are
They
covered.
can't get over that either. I feel like the
Right.
Democrats are, they can't, there's no excuse. It's like, okay, we're doing something wrong. They finally realizing it, I guess. They just don't like admitting it.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, it's been really quiet, I mean, from that side, for the last couple of days. But I think it's we're gonna start to see more coming out and the complaining and the, calls of foul and all that kind of thing. But it should be interesting. It should be interesting. But I think they were completely shocked. They were completely shocked. I think
I do too.
Yeah. So
They were high on their own supply.
Or at least that's how it's been on all the news stations.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of a CNN clip earlier today. They were talking about, here's what we did wrong. We didn't do this, and we didn't do that, and we didn't do this. It's like, no, you got stuck in Trump quicksand.
We have just in case you don't know, we have a big crowd here today. That was Maurice Johnson, and I'm Cheryl, and then we have Tom and John Haynes and Jim Baker and Heather Young and Carol. So we have a big crowd here, so you can.
Man, well, hey everybody!
Hey.
I can't thank y'all enough.
Gina's here, she's trying to hide.
The vigil outside, it's just been amazing, the support and everything, the tireless efforts that y'all made to just get the word out and to actually bring light on what's going on to the ones that's been incarcerated. And your efforts weren't in vain. I think a lot of things have been, brought to light and has been changed over the past 4 years, pretty much, because of y'all, people like y'all, and just your efforts. And I just, thank everybody. And
Thanks, Olivia.
it's exciting. I can't wait to meet everybody in person. Give everybody a big hug.
Us too.
Oh, yeah.
Us
If
too.
it went for people like y'all, I mean, and I get the Northern Next Sentinel up here, so I get to keep up a little bit in the different newsletters that Cheryl sends out, and I enjoy being able to read and hear what's going on. It makes me feel like I'm surrounded by a loving community, and that's what y'all are. Y'all are awesome. So thank you, everybody.
John Haynes from the Sentinel is here, if you wanted to say anything to him.
Wow. I really enjoy. I've been enjoying the articles and everything. I try to make it last, so I'll slow. I won't read them all at one time. I'll read a little bit here and there, one article after so I have it for longer. But
that's great.
You're doing a good job.
So, Olivia, I've got a book or two coming your way from Amazon. It's called Justice Denied, and the author is a guy named Howell Woltz. And he has a similar experience of being caught up in the criminal justice system, but he did this years ago, and he's got a lot to teach us on how we're going to correct our criminal justice system going forward. So I wanted you to have that and to share that with anyone you'd like to on the women's side. And I've also got several copies going to the guys over on the men's side. So.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. That's what I said. Like all this has, so many have spent much time, after January 6th in prison, but I feel like it's really brought to light to a lot of people, because I mean, me personally didn't know anything about, you know, the justice system and how absolutely corrupt it is, and the prison systems and everything. It's just a money-making racket. They don't care
Yes,
nothing
it
about,
is.
you know, the people. They just make money and give you the bare minimum, and, you know, it's just unjust. And so
We've all had a
this
crash
has
course.
really been eye-opening to actually be in it. So that's what I was like, even being here in the general population, we hear all these stories of just, you know, evidence that goes missing, and bonds that are denied for no reason, and just the corruptness of, you know, prosecution, judges, and defense counsel all in bed together. So it's like you don't really have a chance. But
Sounds like you've already read this book.
get that change.
Yeah, yeah. Well, great. I'm so glad we got to talk to you, and this is such an exciting week. I tell
Yes,
you what,
it is.
it's the beginning. Our phone is going off the hook. We're getting a lot of callers coming in, so.
That's what the beat
Oh,
was.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go to somebody else who call in, but yeah, I appreciate what y'all are doing.
Well, God
All right,
bless
thank
you.
you.
Good
Thank
talking
you
to
so
you.
much for talking.
We love
Yes.
you.
Love y'all too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
So how many of the Pollocks are incarcerated?
Two. But, and Hutchinson's best friends, so he's
Basically
somewhat
family.
family.
Right.
So really three.
So really three. And who knows, like, when all of this ends up, if they'll do anything to his father.
You're not going to be able to hear you guys. If you have anything else to say.
No, did y'all hear that? Give me a thumbs up.
Your what?
So, there are two Pollocks, Jonathan and Olivia, incarcerated in DC. There's also Joseph Hutchinson, who is like their lifelong, or I guess Jonathan's lifelong best friend, so they consider him family. And then Mr. Pollock, you know, they've been threatening him with stuff, so who knows if that'll be one of their, you know, things to go after him before the end of their reign, or whatever it is, evil reign.
I think before you got in here, we were just updating it looks like there were 3 arrests last week according to the NPR website. And it seemed like they had upticked the week prior was a big week.
I think 7.
Yeah.
7 or 8 that week.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised to see more happening. Meaning, I mean, look at the charges that were on the 3 that were today. They were very minor charges. So, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty more of them they want to pull in. But it almost has to be a diminishing return at some point, you know, because I think they're going to lose this is not going to be a popular thing to continue rounding up Americans and arresting them for January 6th. It's going to work against them, I think, in some way.
Yeah, they're effectively arresting Trump supporters
Right.
for supporting Trump.
Correct.
I think what you're gonna see, and there are a lot of people already working on it, you're gonna see some massive class action lawsuits coming down the road. And I recently talked to a prominent person, I would just say it's a constitutional attorney. He asked me not to discuss any particulars, but there are several people working on them independently, and now they're starting to have early discussions about all going in together. And don't think this couldn't be gigantic. I mean, look at the tobacco lawsuit, the opioid lawsuit. And the beauty of that is they'll come to a mass settlement and then divide it, which means they can share legal fees. And mark my words, especially with the Trump administration coming in, they're going to have the tools and the wherewithal to investigate all these things. So a lot of these people that think they're just going to get away with this, including you clowns at Northern Neck Regional Jail, if you're listening, I know just myself, I've got a lot of evidence, and I'm talking about recordings and, you know, it's like putting together a puzzle. You know, I talk about Ryan Samps a lot, some of the abuses he's taken. That didn't happen in a vacuum. There was a person, I'm not going to use his name right now, but you all know him. He saw Samsel the next day. He had to go by the medical unit for some reason, and he was beaten so badly that he didn't recognize him. He didn't realize it was Samsel. And I think you've all seen the pictures we published that were 2 weeks old, and you could still see the swelling and the bruising and everything. So it's not going to be just they get out and it's over. There's going to be some people in big trouble. Some of these Capitol Police officers, Harry Dunn and some of his clown car, they're all in trouble because there are a lot of eyewitnesses that can refute pretty much everything he said. And they lied under oath to a congressional committee. So don't think this is going to go away quietly. There's going to be a lot more action to come.
There is. I
was watching a video the other day with Yuval Harari, one of my favorite human beings. I'm not sure if he's evil or if he's just brutally honest. But he was pointing out that if Trump gets back in office, the global order will collapse. And we were already seeing it in European nations just the last couple of days. They're really having a hard time. The leadership over there is anyways.
So that guy's with World Economic Forum, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he is definitely a dregs of the earth kind of person.
His views are not something that I would, no, never. I would be inclined to just slap him upside the head for saying it. Just terrible stuff that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, he's like Satan. So we're so super pumped on you know the possibilities of these pardons and everything like that. But I don't want and you know this is a great celebration, good end of the week kind of thing. But I don't want people to forget that these people are still going through it, and again you know arrest every day or well this week we didn't have arrests every day, but we had arrests. And these people are still needing funds. They're still needing help with their commissary. They're still needing support. They're still needing letters, and they're still needing people to have conversations with people that don't know about J6 and the plight that they're going through. So, as wonderful as this is, we can't stop. We still have to plunge forward because there are sentencings, there are hearings, and stuff going on in the courtroom still. So as you know, let's look forward, but don't forget to stay in the present and remember that these people need help.
Right.
So
what about the integration of the pod? Should we be talking about that out here? If people aren't aware of that they should make some calls?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think we should make calls.
I tried and I couldn't get through.
I mean, look, this is a horrible thing. I think the people who are in general population, the J6ers that have not been integrated into the J6 pod, that were just stuck in general population, I think they're okay. Like they're not great or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but they're okay. The ones that are still in the pod that are being integrated with the protective custody inmates from general population, that's a different thing. So yeah, I think we do need to make calls.
This is a prepaid call from
Dominic Box.
Mr. Box.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To repeat, your current balance is $41.25. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Trump won.
That's a fact, Jack. This is Brian, by the way.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
for the record, he did the last time too.
Exactly.
Any of those goons from the U.S. Attorney's Office that like to slug on the lines and misquote people, like just so I go on the record, like this is a 3-peat, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. How is everybody doing tonight?
We're doing great.
We've got a big crowd
Excellent.
here.
You got a big crowd there. Oh, I'm so glad you guys do. Everybody's got to be so riding on cloud high, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, awesome stuff going on. I've been concerned about Arizona this whole time. I don't know. I didn't see today a lot of things going on in the positive, so I didn't get a chance to check out what they're saying about Arizona. Does anybody know what they're saying about that? Did they steal it from Kari Lake again?
Yeah, Dominic, this is John Haynes. How are you?
It's Brian.
Oh, Brian, I'm sorry. I'm not a fast learner, as you probably already figured out. Just to give you an update on Arizona, as you know, the presidential deal is pretty much a done deal. But the last two ballot drops that have happened, Kari Lake is rapidly eating into the lead. And I didn't get to see the ones this afternoon, but she's been averaging about 57 to 60% of the recent drops. So if that keeps up for a couple more days, she will win. It's just a matter of if they can outrun the cheating.
She was in the lead when they stopped counting, right?
No. Well, when you measure, they're still counting, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was disheartened when it came across I started having like some PTSD from 2020. Like, Maricopa County stopped counting at 9 p.m. I'm like, oh no, here we go again. Poor Kari, you know what I mean? They took they stole the gubernatorial race from her, and they, you know what I mean? All the nonsense that they did to that poor woman over the last 4 years with the RNC trying to bribe her not to represent it. Do you guys remember any of that stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then she had to fight through that, and you know what I mean? They just ran her name through there. I'll tell you what, I respect that woman so much. She reminds me of like Lauren Boebert and MTG. You know what I mean? Like these women they got fires in their belly. They're godly women, and they love our country. And I hate to see them going through this. So like I'm heartened to hear that the recent quote unquote drops of ballots. I don't know how all these major areas with far more people. I mean, Arizona doesn't even have that many people in the entire state. Why are they not able to get them in there?
What it is, Brian, is this is different than last time because they changed some state laws. These are not ballots that have been suddenly discovered or anything like that, because they allow ballots to come in for 3 or 4 days afterwards. It just takes that long.
In the mail.
Yeah, but there's no evidence at all that there's been any cheating and everything. And what evidences that is the fact that Lake has been winning all these drops out of Maricopa. So I understand your concern, but this is a lot more controlled. These are not contested votes. These are legitimate votes. They just, because they allow registrations to come in after the election day, I think it's 3 or 4 days. That's all it is. But it's not, so far, there's no indication of cheating.
No, that's good to hear that there's some semblance of something fair going on in Arizona. That I remember watching the hearings. You know what I mean? I remember when Giuliani was out there. Their legislatures and their representatives out there are just so corrupt. It's but I'm heartened to see that it's moving in the right direction. I mean, I don't think it'll ever be perfect, but I know my prayers go out to Kari Lake and the other candidates out there that are voting. And it looks like we're probably going to win the House too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah, we're within 2 votes, and I think there's still 10 seats outstanding. California won another one today, and I've been out doing deliveries all day long, but we may already have the House, but it's about a 99.9% chance. Oh
man, how awesome! That's the big red win. The thing that I don't understand is and that really kind of blows my mind. I mean, I know I know this time, like, we had the early vote and you know, too big to rig, but these states that like have, you know, Donald Trump winning by like 9-10% or something like that, and it's like, but the Senate race, I mean, it was like, what? What are you talking about? You're telling me all these people went out and voted for Donald Trump and then voted for a Democratic senator?
Right.
I doubt it.
Right.
Well, that's what it was looking like in Arizona for Carrie Lake. It was all Trump votes, and then her votes were gone. Like, where are they?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure if they liked
Speaking of
Donald Trump, they liked
speaking
Carrie
of
Lake.
where are the votes? Where are the 20 million votes?
Right? Where are those 20 million?
That Pete had last time. That I remember we were watching it, and they were doing I think it was like a NBC. They, you know, the Scripps News were doing the election stuff from NBC, and like, let's pull up on the map where Kamala Harris is outperforming Joe Biden from 2020. There was not a single like, I mean, she did not outperform him anywhere, and somehow like, the
So
Democratic
great.
Party lost
3,000
20 million
counties.
votes, but
It was like a
those 20
totally
million votes weren't
complete
gained by
black.
Trump.
Yep.
The whole United States was black. She did not outperform.
Yeah, it was so funny, and I know they must not have been expecting that, because it was like, there's like an awkward sign, it's like, yeah.
Those are great.
Well, it's all because
But
she's
then,
a woman of color. And
Right,
all- And all the, all the bigots and
that's how
misogynists.
racist we are, and that's it. It's the misogynist racist that just wouldn't vote for
That's
this
right.
black woman.
And Hispanics
I
are
forgot
misogynists.
how horrible our country was according to some of these pundits.
Yeah.
And, the Democratic Party, you know, the xenophobic, homophobic, misogynistic, white nationalist, garbage.
Garbage
people.
there, don't forget that.
That's right,
That's
that's us.
it. That's the
We're
garbage
here.
meat. That's
The
it.
adorable deplorables.
That's who you're talking
The
to.
deplorables, that's right, that's
Don't
us.
forget it.
Bitter corners.
That's it.
Chumps.
Yeah. Well, this piece of garbage just got a sentencing memo, so I got my sentencing is on Friday.
Oh,
Uh,
Next Friday?
2 o'clock, right?
Okay.
He's late for it if it's.
Yeah.
2 o'clock next Friday is my sentencing, and I'm a pro se defendant, so I've been trying to get the stuff with the PSR people. The government actually opposed their own government people, and at the end of it, they asked 4 more points to me for some, I don't even know what the exact word is, some nonsense. Basically, what it comes down to was it was like premeditation is what they wanted an enhancement for. So they took some tweets that I had that said that that January 6th was going to be a historic day. I think it said tomorrow is going to be a historic day, and something about our elected officials will hear from the governed, and they took this as, I mean, I don't know how you don't premeditate driving to a rally that's 14 hours away. I mean, I had to get a hotel room and I had to get in my truck and drive 14 hours, but there's no way to rationalize what they're doing, but that's what
They're not rational people.
A 4-point enhancement for basically what would be the equivalent of like if it was a murder, a premeditated murder, but like I premeditated what I was going to do that day because I put a message out on Facebook that it was going to be a historic day in American history or something. I guess I don't know. These people are delusional.
Wow. Wow.
But, and then in my sentencing memo, they asked for 78 months.
They can ask all they want. They're not getting it.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt. I mean, I knew that I was never going to spend a day over what the Lord wanted me to be in here or needed me to be in here. You know, I say need because, you know, I think that, you know, there's been so many things that I benefited from, you know, being in here. You know, all the noise of everyday life has been quieted, and I've been, you know, able to you know, really concentrate on Him and really get into my Bible and the Word, and I've met a lot of people, and I've been able to bring, you know, a lot of, you know, help a lot of people with, you know, their issues, you know what I mean, talk to them about God, talk to them about my life experiences over the last, you know, 4 decades, and you know, I believe that the Lord works that way. He works through people, He works through His people, I mean, to bring good on the earth, so, you know, I know know there's a reason for me being in here. I know I'm not the same person
That's
that I
nice.
was 7 months ago when they incarcerated me, for sure. Not just like in the sense that, you know, like my career and bank account and all that stuff is gone. But also like
There's that.
yeah, there is that. Like I'm definitely much more broke, much more unemployed. I was never a felon before this, and now I'm a 6-time felon. So there's a lot of things that are different. However, there's a lot of things that are good. You know, I've taken this time to work on myself and to evaluate, you know what I mean, how I approach certain situations, how I think about certain situations, and kind of step back. It's been a good opportunity for me to get that 30,000-foot view. You know, because before that I was so occupied with trying to find ways to support my family, because they did. You know, I had a top secret clearance. I worked for the U.S. government, for the Department of the Army. So all of that went away, and that's all I ever did. That's all I did for, before this, for 21 years. So, trying to, I was working on cars, doing electrical work, building, cornhole boards or furniture for people out of wood, did that kind of stuff. And then also trying to defend myself, trying to figure out how to be a lawyer, trying to figure out, like, go through all these mounds of evidence and trying to build a defense for myself, because I was a pro se defendant, and then trying to get things to where, knowing that I was going to be going to prison, because they had 100% conviction rate, and I'm not retarded. I realized that that's definitely going to happen, so, like, trying to get things in place to, so my wife could, take the reins from me for, an unknown amount of time. So, that, well, not woe is me, but like that prevented me from like really being able to just evaluate things the way I needed to, because like my brain and like I was just in another place. Like I had too much other things going on to just sort of sit and be still and let the Lord work in me. So I've never been more rested than I am right now. I've been essentially sleeping for 7 months straight. So the one good thing about being in prison is that my schedule is wide open. Yeah, you need me, like you got me. Yeah, and so it's like watching paint drying hair. But I really am grateful, and I know that sounds weird from somebody that's calling from the DC Gulag, but I really am grateful for a lot of things, because there's been a lot of good that came out of it.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in the sense that like they're about to annihilate me inside there. They already did it in my sentencing memo about how unrepentant I am, and about how how I'm not accepting of responsibility and blah 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 blah. And I'll save my opinion on their opinion until after Friday. But I can understand how one might come to that conclusion. However, there are things that have changed in me, and there are things that I am extremely grateful for.
Yeah, but they won't accept anything but groveling at their feet. So you could sit there and say that you're sorry, you wish it didn't happen, whatever. But unless you're groveling at their feet, you're not repentant enough.
You have 1 minute remaining.
They've got a better chance of seeing a unicorn shit rainbow sherbet.
That's right.
Before we hang up,
let me just pray with you guys real quick before I go. Dear God, I ask for your healing touch to be upon us and everyone listening to this call, and for our protection to surround us. Please bring physical, emotional, and spiritual healing for our bodies, minds, and keep us safe from harm. I trust in your love and care for us, and I ask you if you would use your power to bring about a complete, total healing in this country and in our lives. Amen.
Amen. Well said.
And guys, I love you. Thank you so much. And,
Happy birthday.
I'll call after my sentencing on Friday. Let you guys know how it turned out.
hope you have a happy birthday next week too.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's my daughter's birthday too. We have the same birthday.
Oh,
Penelope Smith.
Yeah, we'll think of you on Wednesday.
We love you, Patriot.
Okay, good night.
God bless and Godspeed, guys.
God bless you.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
Penelope, she's gonna be 16
He's really a nice guy for an insurrectionist.
Yeah, how about
Really,
that?
truly he is.
Cheryl, could you?
But he's
let
not
John see
repentant
your
enough.
book for a second?
Okay.
I just want to let him see that. So Cheryl has these profiles of everybody, so that tells you a little bit about him and so on, but he spells it with a Y for one thing. And,
Yeah, I recognize the tater salad, but now
Tater salad.
yeah, so Brian Sean Smith.
I gotta update my book.
And Heather,
Yes.
could you let him know I've got that same book coming to him too? I just want
Yeah.
these guys to know that. Thanks.
Justice denied.
Yes.
Redo my profiles.
Hey, I'm just going to fill in a little bit of something here. Public Interest Legal Foundation, I want to give a shout out. Public Interest Legal Foundation is the largest nonprofit law firm dedicated to election integrity on the conservative side. J. Christian Adams is the president of that organization, and he's actually been here and spoken to this group probably about a year and a half or 2 years ago, talking about his election integrity efforts. And so I subscribe to their newsletters and so on. He put out a report just yesterday, and wanting to update folks on some of the work that PILF, Public Interest Legal Foundation, has been doing. They're working all over the country. He said they monitored the inside election polls in the Detroit area, Michigan. They were there. The leftists were on the ground too. We recorded their behavior and we stopped them. They electioneered within the prohibited area. Right? Stop and think about that. They were electioneering within a prohibited area. Not supposed to do that at the polls, right? Ordered election officials and voters around, and we even saw voters at the voting booths being directed. So they were, doing all the things they weren't supposed to do. And then he had an encounter with Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. He said hello to her and even shook her hands. He said, I didn't expect to see her, and I can assure you she didn't expect to see me. She had a Washington Post reporter in tow to write a fawning story about how great a job Secretary Benson does, and there's links to that article. In Wisconsin, they set up the first ever system to track Election Day registration fraud. Wisconsin allows would-be voters to both register and vote on Election Day, but in past elections, election officials ignored the guardrails on the process to prevent voting fraud. Our system caught non-compliance with the Wisconsin law, and so our work not only got the message out that we were watching them, but we also won our case against the Green Bay clerk for failing to follow state election laws. The Wisconsin Election Commission ruled in our favor and excoriated the Green Bay city clerk, publicly warning her right before the election to follow the law. And then they were working in Nevada as well. They got a lot of the bad addresses off of voter rolls. This time Clark and Washoe counties finally investigated and cleaned up. We'll see if that problem was completely solved, but we know for the first time it was improved. He did a really neat little video, and I started following him obviously a couple of years ago, but right when, as I think it was Josh was talking about it, or maybe it was Brian talking about watching the hearings, right after the 2020 election. And Christian Adams Group did a little video where they were out. It was almost like a James O'Keefe kind of an expose. And by the way, he's friends with James O'Keefe. And they were going around to different voter addresses asking for the registered voter.
I saw some of that.
And often it was a used car lot or, an abandoned building or whatever. So they were doing a lot of that stuff. So they were calling attention to how, because a lot of people think, well, what's all this cheating about? What are they talking about cheating? Well, yeah, it doesn't have to be really blatant and obvious. People have been cheating in elections for quite a long time, and they've gotten really good at it, but Americans have woke up. And that's the other thing I want to say. I'm really excited to hear James O'Keefe, founder of Project Veritas, but now what's the name of it? James,
OMG.
What is it again?
OMG.
OMG, O'Keefe Media Group. Yeah, OMG, right. They were on the ground. He said he was on the ground in a disguise at some voting location. and they were going to be using hidden cameras and watching stuff go on. So I can't wait to see some of those things that come out, because I'm sure they saw some really silly stuff. Carol ran into some issues with her job as an election officer. I don't know if you want to go into any of it, but you saw some funny stuff going on with people doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing, right?
A little bit, but not too much.
Not too bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well, what
same,
if you had
a
been
few
there?
same-day registrations and a
Yeah.
couple non-speaking, non-speaking.
But what if you hadn't been there?
Right, right.
I don't know.
Well, that's just it.
There was,
Uh,
there was
no.
8 of us there that day.
But anyway, I'd like to compliment Carol and a lot of the other people that worked the polls, because that's where the rubber hit the road. And a lot of the cheating just didn't happen because there were people present. They knew they'd get caught. But to get back to J. Christian Adams, when he spoke here about a year and a half ago, it was a little impressive because he was, and Tom I'm sure remembers this, he was kind of warning us, this is way worse than you think. It's going to be a heavy lift, it's blah, blah, blah. And about a week ago, I saw a statement from him just before the election, and they were asking him if there was any progress made, and I expected the same type of thing. He says, well, the last election I would have rated a D as far as compliance and whatever.
Exactly.
He said, and this was before the election, he said, I would now rate it a B minus. Now to go from a D to a B minus in one cycle is pretty impressive. And we've still got upward potential. So when someone like J. Christian Adams says that carries a lot of weight with me.
Well, especially
that is his life. That is his job. That's what he does as election integrity. So I think that's really great that you pointed that out, John. I lost all those numbers, but I have them somewhere here. But we did have a call to action this week on trying to get a hold of the DC jail to complain about them integrating the general population. So, yeah, we're looking for some numbers here, and we'll get them out. Do you have them?
Yeah.
I'll let you speak.
Excuse me. Okay, so call to action. So the CTF Command Center, you'd want to ask for the warden or the acting deputy warden. The phone number is 202-790-6601. Now, there's an assistant, apparently, Miss G. Powell. It could be somebody else because they switch out people all the time. That number is 202-523-6598. There is the Department of Corrections, DC building. There's an address here, but I'll just give you the phone number for now. There's also a fax number, but 202-698-4932. And that's all I got. But those are the numbers to call and complain. You can also call Muriel Bowser. Is that how you say her name? The mayor's office. You can call different Congress people. Congressman Bilson. Is it Bilson? And Burkeen. They're great. MTG. She just won, so maybe she will actually do something. And maybe, what's his toes? Biggs. Is it Biggs? Clay Higgins. Yeah. So those are some people that you can write to their offices. They have DC offices. Andy Biggs, thank you. But there are a few. Loudermilk. And we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And don't be discouraged. You get a lot of phone menus, press 2, press 4, whatever. I've left messages. That's typically what I'm asking for a callback, which I don't get. But at least, at least we're lighting up their switchboard, and they do respond, just like the congressman's offices do. They respond, or they recognize it when constituents are ticked off, because that's what happens. They get calls, and I can't remember the anecdotal evidence of that, but I remember someone saying, "Well, this didn't get very many calls, so I guess we're fine with that." They actually do gauge and monitor that stuff. So.
Yeah, what Tom said couldn't be more true, and it's understandable. And one thing that the left does that we don't do, we call our own representatives, which we're getting better at, but we never call the other side. We assume they wouldn't be interested. Well, they don't feel that way. I know some of the people, Whitman's assistants, and they're constantly bombarded by these people. Now, they know that they're lunatics, and they're not going to ever vote for them anyway. But just to show you how aggressive they are. And they're required by law to keep track of incoming correspondence. Now, on the other side, I'm not sure how much they comply, but that can all be used in the future as documentation. And these politicians are very, very attuned to that. And I've actually heard them say, Whitman included, well, I didn't think there was that much interest because I really didn't have a lot of people call. And you know what, if you think about it, that's pretty logical. With the paper, sometimes when Tom and I are talking, I'll tell him, I think this is really catching on. And the way I'm figuring that out is by feedback. If I get 2 or 3 emails or calls on a certain subject, that's about normal. But when I get 15 or 20, and we're a fairly small outfit, but I'm just saying, when you see that big of a jump, that always kind of lights up a light bulb to me, and I start checking into it. Because if there's that level of public concern, there's almost something there. So that's why I'm so proud of the American people for the way they responded to this election, because a big part of what they try to pull is this PSYOP. Oh, it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to work. Why bother? And that's their stock and trade. And I heard this today on my route. People are just so encouraged. I've never seen so many smiles, because they're finally realizing, man, if we fight back, we can win. And I had one guy tell me today, he goes, John, I'll be honest, I didn't think we'd win. I just didn't want to feel guilty when I didn't try. And he said, but now I'm twice as energized. I'm going to work twice as hard next time. And you know what? Winning begets winning. Just ask the old Redskins. I have to get that in. Must be a Dallas fan. Yeah, they're doing great.
I can't do a Trump impression, but we're going to have so much winning, we're going to get sick of all the winning.
No, please, no more winning.
You forgot we're going to win bigly. That's
It's
right.
huge. It's going to be huge. That's huge. Well, this is trade.
How long before we get to hear China?
China wants to make nice all of a sudden.
China wants to be friends. Do you want me to talk about Mellis real quick?
Yeah. That was him.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't him calling, because that
No,
was,
it's Ducey.
It would have been a seminar.
I tried and messages didn't go through or things were going on. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you guys have tuned in, not this last week, but a couple weeks before, 2 weeks before, tonight, you would have seen John Mellis on here. Jonathan Mellis was a prisoner in the DC Gulag for 3 years, and then got sentenced and sent to Asheville, Kentucky, and where he spent about, like 7 months, 8 months, something like that. He never got out for halfway house. They weren't playing nice with him. And when he got out, he came home here to Virginia, and it was great for a couple of weeks. And then so last Friday night, or last Thursday night, his home was raided by the state police SWAT team, and he was not home, and which was okay, but for him, but the friend of his that he lives with that was approved by probation, federal probation, is an avid hunter and had guns and wildlife cameras. And when he saw his wildlife cameras going off, he thought he was going to be burglarized and started to approach the door with a gun, which I think any of us would do. And so it could have turned out pretty ugly. They had all of Jonathan's information about his probation. They had his phone number. They clearly did because they knew where he lived, and that was, just a friend. That was somebody that they wouldn't have known about. So they clearly had ties to his federal probation officer, and they could have just asked him to come in, turn himself in, or something like that. Pinged his phone. I don't know if that's illegal. But yeah, they had to, let's make sure everybody knows and embarrass him. So Jonathan was turned himself in Friday night. That's why he wasn't here last Friday. He turned himself into the Williamsburg, James City County Police Department, and he is now sitting in a Williamsburg jail. The charge is probation violation, and that is a state probation violation. So in 2008, Jonathan was arrested for a drug charge. It was his first charge. It was his first time anything, and they charged him and sentenced him to 20 years. And he got, for good behavior, that got reduced to 10 years, and he was released on supervised probation in 2017. And in that time, he went straight to Tennessee from Virginia. He moved straight to Tennessee as he got out of the prison. He lived there. He was doing charity work. He was doing, he was serving. He was, starting to redo his life. They took him off of supervised probation in 2019 in April, and that's when he started traveling the country, and that's when he ended up in 2021, January 6th. He ended up there getting arrested, and apparently that's the probation that he violated. Virginia has some sort of law. I haven't really gotten the full answers, and everything I look at is just word salads, and I ain't hungry for that. So apparently Virginia's law is that when you get taken off of probation for good behavior, you're still on probation
For life.
for life.
It is true.
For
Virginia
life.
did it to my daughter.
99 years. And so
You do anything wrong.
anything. He could,
You go
30 years from now go to
40
Hawaii
years
and get in a bar fight or, something, and he would come back to Virginia and be probation violation. So we do have some really great minds that are helping us. Professor Clements, I talked to him today, Professor David Clements. I don't know if you guys know of him, but he's, you can find him on Conservative Daily with Joe Altman every day. And he's helping me. We've got some great people that are helping. So what Jonathan needs right now from his supporters is commissary and help with his legal fund, because he's got another legal thing ahead, expenses and all that kind of stuff. So you can go to his website. I think it's on We Are Good Men, but I will tell you, it is also, if I was a good person, I would have had this ready. It's a, good, look at you getting his inmate number. So you can go to Justice for J6 Johnny, spelled Jonny, justiceforj6johnny.com, and that'll lead you to his GiveSendGo. His inmate number at the Virginia Peninsula Regional Jail is 114742.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up, or your current balance is $39.53. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Dominic.
Hello. How we doing tonight, guys?
Trump won.
Trump won!
Man,
And you know it.
say it again. Say it one more time.
Trump won.
Man, hey, I love the sound of that. And guys, I remember last week when we talked, and I said, hey, I just pray that we get the results by Friday.
Right.
But it didn't take that long.
Right.
We knew Wednesday morning, and man, what an absolute relief! What an incredible, just, I mean, I hate to say it, unexpected and overwhelming defeat. I knew we were going to win. I felt phenomenal leading up into this, but I'm being a little loud, guys. I felt phenomenal. I've been hearing that since kindergarten. And Mom, if you're listening, give a thumbs up and let them know I'm telling the truth. Guys, so I'll tell you this, guys. One of the great honors of my life was being the one to actually announce and call out to the men of C3B that Donald J. Trump was reelected to the presidency of the United States. I am
That's awesome.
one of the only ones that it was incredible. I've got the only functioning radio, and those that let us stay out a little bit late, we are still in jail, and they said, lock in. And sadly, the guard that was working that night was not a Trump fan, which is hard to believe after meeting all of these wonderful men, but apparently there are still a few that are out there, and I was listening, the calls were coming in. As soon as they called Pennsylvania, I said it's done.
Exactly.
I started feeling
Pennsylvania was
incredible when they called North Carolina. We knew Georgia was going our way, and then Wisconsin, Alaska, and I can tell you guys that the growing calls of celebration and relief were indescribable and were matched only by the moment when we watched President Trump survive the attempted assassination attempt on July 13th. And those are two moments that I will remember for the rest of my life. I remember exactly where I was and how I felt on September 11th. I'll never forget the way I felt on July 13th. And praise God, I'll never forget how I felt on the eve and early morning of November 6th. So I'm so happy. I have slept better the last 2 or 3 nights than I have in probably my entire life, and certainly more than the last 4 years. And I know that feeling is shared not just by January 6th defendants, but the country and the world at large. And it's just phenomenal to be in this position. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you're right about that. I think we've all been experiencing different, reactions to it. A little bit of disbelief, relief. Is it really true? And yeah, so it's wonderful to be here, though. It's wonderful to be here.
Absolutely. Well, guys, as you know, we're about to sing the national anthem, and I'm gonna, the fight that we won is not over, so we're still gonna fight at the end, and then I'll be back here in just a second. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Don Manuel, any friends to our friends in Northern Neck?
No, you guys, thank you for your unconditional support. God first, and glory to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Yes, sir.
Guys, thank you for your support as always. What a tremendous win for President Trump and our country. So excited to bring back freedom and grace to the nation.
Hey, it's Jonathan Copeland. I'll be calling next Friday to say hello to you guys.
Here we go.
All right.
Oh, stay, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. USA, 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 fight, 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 fight.
And Trump wins.
Trump won! Trump
Well,
won!
guys,
Trump
love
won,
it.
we
It's
win.
always incredible
Isn't that
to
what
do
they like
that.
to say?
And tonight, I'm sure you guys may know, we actually have some new residents here on the unit. We haven't gotten anybody to join us in the singing of the anthem yet. I don't think they knew it was coming, but we did have several guys come out of the TV room and stand at attention with their hands over their heart. And I think as they, not only as they are Trump supporters, but as they see kind of how things working here, I think we will have a few new voices singing the anthem with us, and that's just an incredible thing. So just to wrap that up, we talked the other night about how the jail was planning on integrating the unit. Thankfully, they did not do that on election day because that would have just, seemed a little malicious and, strange. But it did happen, and thankfully, we're good men in here. There's a lot of good men in this facility that have found themselves in difficult situations, and God wants us to love our neighbors, and we are going to extend every courtesy and act of good graciousness that we can, because we don't know these men, we don't know their struggles, but we do know that they are men and sons of God just like we are. So we look forward to continuing to work together to share not just God's message of love, but to also show to them and to their friends and families that we aren't the things that the news has said about us, that we are good, hardworking men who love our families, love our country, and gosh darn it, we love President Trump as well. But on that note, I did want to say, today they brought up 11 men, and that's, we certainly have the space for it. There are 49 cells in this pod that we're on right now, but there are, from what I know, 10 January 6th defendants who are not on this unit. There were actually 2 January 6th defendants on the unit that they brought these men from, and for whatever reason, they did not bring those men up. So I'm going to go ahead and name off the names of the January 6th defendants that I know are in this building, and I would encourage all of you out there, you answered the call to action that we put out on Monday night, calling the jail and voice your concerns about bringing non-big sixers together. And it's not a white thing or a black thing or any, we don't think we're any better or worse than anybody, but we do think that January 6th defendants that are in this facility and that are in this predicament deserve to be housed together. So if anybody's got a pen or wants to just, pray for these men, William Sarsfield, Paul Kovacic, Jeremy Brown, Joshua Dale, Robin Rierson, Edward Kelly, Jake Lang, Joshua Atwood, Edward Richmond, Taylor Toronto, and Ryan Wilson. These are all men who, at least within the last week, were in this facility that are January 6th defendants that were not brought up here. So there is certainly enough space. There is certainly an opportunity for the jail to bring these men up here and to integrate with us. And for some reason, they just haven't. So, you guys can make inferences and speculate as to why they chose to do this when they did, when after nearly 4 years, this has never happened. And in fact, in March of 2021, the deputy director actually, put out a notice that, because of the nature of our cases and for security and safety in the pod, that we are to be, kept separate. For whatever reason, that has changed as of today, and the individuals that are responsible for that, or we're certainly accepting responsibility for that, are our new warden. His name is Warden Page, Captain Saunders, Corporal Hayes, and the newly installed Captain Hayward. That's Captain Hayward, Warden Page, Captain Saunders, and Corporal Hayes. Now, again, we can get along with anybody. We are great at, mingling and coexisting. There have been absolutely no problem. I don't expect there to be any problem. But the undeniable problem that I certainly have, and I know is shared by everyone in here, is the fact that there are January 6th defendants who are not housed in here. Now, full disclosure, there were some men at one point who were moved from the unit for any number of reasons. But all of those reasons are gone. There are no individuals on that list who have active separation orders or keep-aways, as they're called, with anybody that's on this unit. There is not a single person on that list that anybody in here doesn't want up here, and there is not a single person on this list that the jail has not been told should be on this list. We have filed all of the separation paperwork. We have filed all of the requests to get them brought up here. We have spoken with the case managers, and we've spoken with our unit officers. And for some reason, rather than housing the January 6th defendants together, they have mingled us with non-J6ers. So I think there's a good question. Why are these men not being brought up here? And I just want to know what the answer to that is. And I hope maybe you guys out there in your audience can help us dig into that a little bit more, because there are men who are being sentenced this month. And as we saw yesterday, actually, one of our J6 defendants in here was sentenced and was immediately taken to the BOP this morning. So people are being shipped out really quickly. And as more of our men leave, we would like to, refill the unit, because I know I came in to this facility on the J6 unit, and it has completely transformed my process. Doing time sucks. Being in jail sucks. But being around people who are sharing a similar burden makes it a lot easier, and having access to the Northern Neck Patriots and Freedom Corner and our friends in Los Angeles and around the world truly makes a big difference, and I want that opportunity to be extended to those men. So again, not a single person on that list has any reason that they can't be up here other than whatever mystery the DOC staff is keeping from us. So I would ask, I hope I don't ask for too much, but I would ask that you guys make some calls and send some emails, because there's no justifiable reason that I can see.
We'll do it. There's another man I didn't hear. Maybe I misheard. Rockne, Rockne Earls, Earles.
Okay.
He is also.
I will add him to the list.
Yes.
Rockne Earls. Thank you. Yeah, and guys, here's one thing I would say. If any of you guys reach out to, and I'm going to, Cheryl or Tom, if one of you guys, I don't know if any of you guys use GTL, but if one of you guys could send me a message, that would make it a little bit easier for me. If you're not on it, don't worry about it, but I would love to have text messaging access to one of you guys.
We'll check it out.
Or for John or whoever.
Yep.
You can tell him I get messages to you.
Cool.
Well, I mean, Heather's here with us, and Heather is kind of my conduit, so we can continue to use that if you want.
Perfect. That's absolutely fine.
All right.
That's good. Heather's everywhere. And she's awesome. She's going to compile that list. And I got a funny story, Mom. I gotta say that Heather Young was actually on my DCL app before my mom. So if there's anybody that is on the basic community and can get information to people, it's Heather. So thank you, Heather, and thank you to all of you guys, man. It's I'll tell you, we got kind of jokes. We did the 3-day fast leading into the election, so it still feels a little surreal and a little, I told Deb I said, I don't want to say psychedelic, but it's, I don't know if because I wasn't eating or it was truly just that monumental and magical, but the feeling is still incredible. Except for whatever reason, the people that take us to recreation, they don't take us outside. Now maybe I understand why. Other than those three who admittedly voted for Harris, it's just an overwhelming. Staff members that previously, had little or no interaction.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Have been encouraging us. They've been slapping us. They said, you guys are going home soon. And whether I go home soon or just someday, I'm just so happy for our country. And you know, I didn't get to this tonight, man, but I feel a little more vindicated knowing that 15 to 20 billion Biden votes somehow disappeared and didn't show at the Kamala. I think maybe there's a story there. We'll look into that and explore that next week when I call in. But as always, guys, it's Dominic Xavier Box, the first and only, and cell number 1 having more appointments to be legally allowed. Number 3-287-GiveSyngo.com/free. Tom, J6, God bless the Northern Next Sentinel, and God bless Patriots everywhere. We love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too.
God bless you, Dominic.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
Got it down to the
He
second.
does, he's got it down pat.
I was gonna try to tell him, but as you know, it's kind of hard to.
You can't. But
You're not gonna get in once he
But
starts his
anyway, I had a bunch of people today, bring up the J6ers.
Did you?
That's why I was so late, because usually I'm in and out, but, hey, John, you know, they all wanted to talk, and I'd say almost every one of them, brought up the J6ers.
Good.
So,
That's positive. I mean,
I've had that with Board of Supervisors. Things like folks would just ask me about that because they know that we follow and advocate for those folks. So it is good to know that they look to us for that news because they know it's all wrong.
There you go.
All right, so we might have another call. I want to just check this out here while you go ahead.
I'm gonna leave it a little early or late. I haven't eaten yet today. Yeah, I know you can't tell by looking at me. I'm about to starve to death.
And even the woman that I met in Walmart, she brought up J6ers, so everybody's thinking about them. And actually, she said that she knew somebody that was a J6er that was released, but we didn't get into the names.
Tom, do you have enough papers for everybody? Okay, good.
All right. Thank you, sorry.
All right, I'm on the way to 7-Eleven to get a submarine.
You want to say hi, John? All right, everybody, here's John Mellis.
Hey.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hi, John. Hi, John.
Hey.
John
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I was just over there a couple weeks ago,
that's right.
Seems like yesterday.
and now I'm in jail.
Yeah.
It's the company you keep.
He said it's
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I guess they missed me, you know. So, you know, they wanted me back in jail for a little while. Yeah. So I was released from probation in 2019 for good behavior, and apparently, so I had 10 years over my head, but apparently I still do. Because apparently I'm on a lifelong good behavior from Virginia. I guess Virginia can put you on that. So if I get in a bar fight in 20 years in Hawaii and I spend a couple of hours in jail and get out just fine, Virginia is going to want to pick me up and bring me back to Virginia and put me in prison. So for the rest of my life, if I get into any shenanigans, I have 10 years over my head. So I should remember that. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day.
Are they gonna make him do 10 years now?
They're trying to.
They're trying to. So.
You'll have to relay the question.
They're trying, oh, I didn't know that, sorry. So they're gonna try and make you serve those 10 years that they took off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, Virginia sucks, by the way.
Well, John, do you think that any of this had to do with the fact that you were speaking? And I don't know how far you want to go with this now, but I think had you gone home and sat quietly and not gotten out and talked about your story, I think it might have been a different thing.
Well, I'll never stop speaking. So, if that's their tactic, then it's not going to work. But,
Clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, clearly. Yeah. I'll do it from anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're definitely trying to make an example out of me, and I look forward to the. Hopefully we can get these pardons pretty quickly because I go to court for this violation on January 27th. So if we get our pardons in the first week would be really great. Because then this charge would be dropped because there would be no violation because there would be no January 6th charge. So, you know, it really mean a lot if, you know, President Trump could,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, he said his first
get
day,
those
that's
parts
what he said, his first
taken
day in, you
care of.
guys are out, so. That's what we're looking for.
What's that?
He said day one, that's gonna be his first thing that he's gonna do is free the J6ers. We're part of it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I didn't think I'd have to sit in jail and wait for it. I thought I was out. This is pretty crazy. I'm really, you know, usually when you get locked up, you're like, you know, you feel like sorrow or regret or something, like you did something wrong, like, oh man, I shouldn't have gotten that fight, or I shouldn't have done that thing, and now I'm in jail, and dang it. You feel some form of, like, you know, regret or something, like you did something wrong. Right now, I have none of that. I am filled with just pure anger. I'm telling you, if they wanted to create Darth Vader, they're doing it. This is insane. It is absolutely insane. I have no sorrow or regret or anything. I'm just completely full of anger toward the system, toward the government. If they wanted a guy to be anti-government, then they're creating him right here. Because this is fucked up. It's so fucked up.
Family show.
You know, I was out for a month. I was setting all my bills for, you know, auto pay, and bought my car insurance 6 months in advance. You know, got my stuff. I was getting my stuff together, you know, and then I'm getting raided by the local police and having to turn myself in the next night. You know, so it's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. And I'm looking at 10 years, which is more time than I was looking at than I did for January 6th. I did, I got sentenced to 51 months for that. And now I'm looking at 120 months. So.
Hopefully not.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's highly frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, what would you like everybody to know before we hang up?
Well, I would like everyone to know, never come to Virginia. Virginia is the worst place on earth. They will come on vacation, leave on probation, come back on a violation. You never leave Virginia when you get here. I'm telling you.
Or once
It's
you
evil.
do, don't come
Pure
back.
evil. So, I hope everybody else is having a good night out there. Enjoy yourselves. It's a good thing Trump won. I'm really happy about that, at least. At least everybody else is going to get out of. Yeah, everybody else will get out of prison.
Hopefully you will too, John.
We will see you soon.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Keep the
You know,
faith, brother.
I just keep thinking.
Keep the faith,
I
you know.
keep thinking about how Ethan and Enrique are doing in their jail cells. I'm sure they're feeling a lot better now. You know, and Stuart Rhodes. You know, I'm sure they feel a lot better now that Trump is coming in.
Yeah. We heard from Zach, or I heard from Zach, and Zach is ecstatic. You know, he's always, you know, so positive. So.
Oh man, I can imagine. You know, you go from 15 years, or 22 years, or 18 years to just a few more months.
That's right.
You know,
We're going to be looking at that too. So if not sooner. So we're going to be praying for your bond hearing, and that it goes your way.
Thank you. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for everything you do. Tom, you're the bomb.
Hey, listen.
That rhymed. I didn't mean that to rhyme.
Keep your head up and know that we're here behind you all of the way. All right, all of the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
People online in the chat are saying that they love you.
Oh, I love you guys too. You guys are amazing. Thank you, everybody. And you know, I may be down in spirits right now, but you know, Trump won, and everything will be ironed out sooner or later. I know it.
Yeah.
So I love you guys and thank you for everything you do.
God bless you, John.
God bless you. Thank you.
For John, it's not as easy as not coming back.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. What an historic evening. There's a lot of joy, there's a lot of sorrow, but I think joy's going to win out. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, well,
Also, then he had to come back to Virginia because that's the only place they could get approved.
well, I know this